Assalamu everyone. If we could just take our seats, we're going to get ready started with the next presentation, inshallah. So if everyone could just take their seats.
Yep. Gift maker.
Alright guys, if we can take our seats, that'd be great. We're going to get started, inshallah. Our next speaker is Dr. Riaz Hussain. Dr. Hussain has a PhD in physics from Johns Hopkins University, and he taught at the University of Scranton. He also received a PhD in finance from Lehigh University, and he holds the title of a CFA, a Chartered Financial Analyst. Please welcome Dr. Hussain.
Assalamu alaikum. It's a little difficult for me to say anything after this inspiring speech by Sheikh Muhammad, but I'll try my best. So let's put ourselves in a slightly different mood. And just as you have a theory lecture in physics, then you go to the next room and try that theory by doing an experiment in the lab. So whatever we have learned before, can we put it to some practical use? So that is the thing that I would like to talk about. A career, a profession, a college experience. So it's my address is both to the youth and to the parents. We are all in it together. It's a journey we have to take together. So let's take a look at the first slide. See if you can dim the light on that side of the room so people can see it better. There. Now that's much better. Now, why do we need a college education? From a academic perspective, the reason why we go to college is, number one, to acquire specialized knowledge. You learn chemistry, you learn physics, you learn biology, you learn this subject and that subject, and that put together represents your college education. You also develop critical thinking skills. This means that you don't just hear something and accept it, but you think about it and see if it is reasonable, if it makes sense. And you develop that ability by through a college education. At least a college education helps you develop that critical thinking ability. The next reason, of course, is that it broadens your horizons. For instance, you study history. Why? Because you would like to know what happened 100 years ago, but to also understand what is going on today, because what is going on today in the world is based upon what happened 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago. So you need that connection in order to continue developing a continuous sort of relationship between the old and the new. Then you also need some special. You also need math skills and writing skills. These are the skills that will help you throughout your life. Whenever you write a note to somebody, that is yourself projecting yourself to the other person, and you create an impression through your writing ability. I advise students who are coming from Pakistan to study here, and occasionally I find someone with rather inadequate writing skills, so I point it out to them, even though it's not very good manners to tell other people what their inadequacy is, but it always is helpful in the long run. And the most important thing perhaps is that the college education prepares you for a profession, for a career. So let's move to the next slide and take a look at some of the professions which are quite common, very popular. At the top of the list is medicine. You need an MD degree to get started in that profession. Everybody knows that. What if you are interested in law? That's also a very popular, reasonable profession. I know some people in our community who are also following that line of profession, legal profession. If you are interested in education, both at secondary level and college level, educating other people, you need a decent college education to get started, perhaps a PhD. That prepares you for another career. I, being an educator, can say something more about it because it gives you plenty of time to do other things. You are not just teaching it in the classroom, you also get summer vacations, you can travel, you can meet other people, you can write something, you can develop other ideas. So education, the field of education, the profession of education is also something very worthwhile. Without good educators, we wouldn't have good doctors or good nurses or good lawyers. So let's move on to the next profession that I have on my list. It's business. Suppose you want to work for a corporation, a big company, and one way to get your foot in the door is to have an MBA. I have also been very fortunate to teach MBA students, and I find personally a very rewarding experience. I learn from my students as well. A couple of other things which are up and coming, of course, are information technology and AI, artificial intelligence. Perhaps in the near future, pretty soon, rather soon, a lot of things will be done automatically through artificial intelligence. Indeed, that is a subject that perhaps we should take very seriously, study, and get used to it. Next slide, please. Excuse my shorts, my eyesight is not very good, so please bear with me. When you are choosing a college, I would suggest that you first look at brand name schools. By that I mean Harvard, Yale, Princeton, schools of that caliber, and with some effort, it is quite possible to go to a very good university. So it's a good idea to start with a higher aim, and then perhaps you can move down the list a little bit if you are unable to get into some of the finest universities. So perhaps we should look at some local schools as well, right here in our neighborhood. I have been teaching at University of Scranton. I taught there for 51 years. I retired 6 years ago. So I have a deep connection with the University of Scranton, but that's not the only university in this area. You also have some other schools, Wilkes University, King's College, Marywood University, Penn State, and so on. So those are the advantage in going to a local school, of course, is that you can stay at home. You don't have to ship yourself out to California or Illinois somewhere. How do you choose between a big school and a small school? Well, there are some schools that provide a rather personalized education, almost one-on-one, that is available in smaller schools. So the smaller schools definitely have a certain edge over bigger schools. The bigger schools, of course, offer a lot of halagulla, a lot of shor sharaba. So if you like that kind of activity, a big school is the place where you would like to go. But the problem is that you are doing that at the expense of the time that you would rather spend on your studies. How do you get to know the schools? Well, it's very easy. You explore their websites. The websites give you a lot of information, and a careful review of the website is almost as good as visiting the school itself. But it is worthwhile visiting a campus. Campuses also have an open house once in a while, where the university will invite maybe a couple of hundred students. Their parents also come, and they all look at the, it's a pretty well arranged, well organized occasion. So if you have the opportunity to attend an open house at a college or a university that you would like to go to, you can take that opportunity and learn quite a bit about that particular school. You can, in those open houses, you can also sit in a classroom and attend a lecture, or you can visit labs, you can visit the library, you can look at the other facilities which are offered by that particular college that you are interested in. Visiting a campus is a worthwhile activity. Finally, it would be very worthwhile to talk to the faculty who are teaching there. Once again, I have been very privileged to be a faculty member here, and I have always enjoyed talking to prospective students, helping them out as much as I could. Next slide, please. What is the secret to getting into a good school? I've listed 3 of them here. The number 1, of course, is to get a good SAT score. Many of you have perhaps taken that test. If you are going to take it, if you haven't taken it, please take it with considerable amount of study and preparation. And if you get a good SAT score, you can write your own ticket to any good school in the country. The other thing is a good college essay. That's something which is also very helpful. And the third thing, of course, is getting good recommendations from your teachers. But above all, of course, are your own grades in high school. I'm addressing primarily to the younger people in the crowd. Next, please. Financing college education may be a little bit difficult. College is expensive. Let's face it, college education is not cheap. But you can do something about it. So what can you do? One possibility is to set up a 529 plan. Many of the parents perhaps are already familiar with it. When the kid is born or when the kid is pretty young, they can open a so-called 529 plan. It is available in every state. You put some money in it every month, every once in a while, and it builds up. And when the child is ready to go to college, you don't have to worry too much about it because you have already saved enough money in that plan. The plan also gives you a tax break. That's another benefit of it. And the money that you put in that plan grows tax-free. So consider that if you haven't already thought about it. I can speak for myself. We have done that for our grandchildren, opened 529 plans for them. Another tricky thing to do is to get this is for the parents now, please, to get a job at a college. And one of the side benefits of working at a school, college I mean, is that your children can go to that college tuition free. So this is also a situation that is possible. Some parents may consider that. And finally, there is one more thing. If everything else fails, you still don't have enough money to go to college, then I would suggest that you take a loan. That's the last thing one should consider. Did I cover everything? Okay, let's go to the next slide. Now this is strictly for the parents, especially the parents whose children have already finished college. They are all grown up. They are well educated already. The mortgage in the house is paid, and you feel pretty secure financially. What is one thing that I would recommend to these parents? It is giving back. You give back what you have taken. If you have received a good education yourself, consider giving good education to somebody else. This is my really the main thrust of this talk. The university where I teach at Brannan Hall. There is a saying in Brannan Hall that says, "To whom much is given, much is expected." To those whom, let me read it more carefully. Of those to whom much is given, much is expected. Now once I was giving a khutbah on a Friday afternoon, and I used that phrase in my khutbah, and after the khutbah somebody said, don't use that, that's Bible. So don't quote Bible in your khutbah. So I said, all right, fine. So let's go to our beloved book, the Quran, and right at the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah, if you read the first 3 ayat, Alif Lam Mim, Zalikal Kitabu La Raiba Fi, Hudan lil Muttaqin, Alladhina yu'minuna bil ghaibi wa yuqimuna as-salata wa mimma razaqnahum yunfiqun. The translation, of course, of the third ayah is those who believe in the unseen perform the prayers and give from what we have provided for them. In some translations, the Arabic word yunfiqun is translated as to spend. But I think the proper translation of the word yunfiqun is to give, not just to spend what you have, but rather to help others by giving. Let's move to the next. This is the website that I have. If you get an opportunity, you can explore that in your spare time. It says scranton.edu, faculty Hussain, and there are a couple of items there. One of them is for the Pakistani students who want to come here to get an MBA on my website. And my wife and I, we started a scholarship 24 years ago by putting a little bit of money in it. And over the last 24 years, 12 students have come to University of Scranton and received their education through this funding. More recently, again, my wife and I, we decided to help people in Gujranwala, which is my hometown in Pakistan. There are 4 high schools there, and the students, the best students from those schools, high schools, can go to FC College and get a decent education there, and we are sponsoring that also. Thank you very much. Any questions, please? Can we have the lights on, please? Now you can see me. Any questions? Thank you very much.